Greetings! Welcome, welcome. Have returned. I need to hit the reset button there. Oh, and then pop the chats back where I can see them. Yes. Okay, so today. Oh, today has been a day. The past 2 days have been kind of meh. But how is everybody doing? Let's chat with the peoples before I get into how just objectively like shitty the past couple of days has been. Hopefully everybody else has had good fun times. Surviving, yes, surviving is the right word. Oh, you're on the GoFundMe, so you probably saw the update that I put out a little bit earlier. That just kind of explains everything. But yeah, it's just a lot of today. Not yet. Well, then I can explain the update. Yesterday, I went to see the so-called specialist for my spine. I was annoyed right off the bat, right? Because they told me my appointment was at 9:15 and to arrive 20 minutes early. I arrived 10 minutes early, so I was there at 9 o'clock. And when I got there at 9 o'clock, they said, oh, your appointment isn't until 9:45. They just tell you 9:15 so that you get here 30 minutes early. So you rescheduled my appointment to 9:45 and you didn't tell me because you wanted me to be here 30 minutes early, even though you told me to arrive 20 minutes earlier than 9:15. Right. Whatever. So I'm sitting out there in the waiting room for 45 minutes before they call my name. And then I go back into the back and I'm sitting in the room where the doctor's supposed to be for another 30 minutes past when my appointment was supposed to be. And yeah, when the doctor came in, I'm like, wow, you guys don't really seem to do anything in a hurry, do you? And he's like, what, because you were waiting an extra 30 minutes? I'm like, no, because I've been waiting since 9 a.m. and you put the wrong time on the appointment. Like, come in here with a fucking attitude, doctor, because you're an hour and a half late. Yeah. So me and Mr. Doctor Man got off on the wrong foot from the start because I'm in there waiting for an hour and a half when I have a fucking appointment. Anyway. He then goes to inform me that he's a spinal surgeon and he only does surgeries. He doesn't do anything else. And I don't need surgery. So there's nothing he can do. And that's it. That's the end of his whole conversation. Well, I don't need surgery. There's nothing I can do for you. I'm like, then why was I recommended to you in the first place? Like, you immediately don't seem like the most competent doctor I've ever met. And now my entire recommendation to you was for what? To waste my time? Because that's what this whole thing has been. And yeah. So he said, "Oh yeah, we don't do anything unless you like need like absolute spinal surgery." I'm like, right, so the 20 people outside are all getting spinal surgery? Like, right, I don't believe you, doctor. Anyway, he doesn't do anything. They put me into a referral to a pain management specialist. So that's supposed to be happening at some point. And this was just a $500 doctor's appointment for no fucking reason at all. Yeah, so I wasn't terribly terribly happy with how all of that worked out. But now I get to see another pain management specialist at some point in the future for things. I don't know what they wanted extra fucking tests for. The dude didn't do anything. Oh, look, there is someone who popped up on the Kick who wants to get banned. Let's grant that wish. There we go. So yeah, extra tests and stuff, and then showing up there, and ultimately they're not gonna do anything. Right, so yeah. And then there's the whole prescription medicine thing, because I've been off the Ozempic for about a month now, because I ran out in December, and the pharmacy refused to refill the Ozempic in December, because every time the doctor sends it over, they'll fill it the first time, and then they won't honor the refill, and then I have to get him to cancel the whole thing out and resend it again. But now, when they did that in December, they were saying it was going to be $1,000, over $1,000 for the Ozempic, and I'm like, I have insurance. Like the last time I got the Ozempic here last month, it was free. Why is it $1,000 now? You're like, oh, well, maybe your insurance changed. No, my insurance did not change. Like, nothing changed except your price. You're like, well, we ran it through your insurance, and this is what it's saying now. And then the insulin was $400. And then I got on the horn with the insurance marketplace, and they said, oh, well, we'll just carry you over on the same plan you had last year. But whatever plan they put me on now, the Ozempic is now $500, and the insulin is now $50. So the insulin is more in the affordable range, but last year it was free, so I don't know what they've changed now. But the plan that I'm on, which used to be a free plan through Medicaid, is now $162 a month. I'm like, I don't have a steady income. Nothing about my circumstances has changed from last year when I qualified for Medicaid to this year when I don't. My circumstances are exactly the same. But this year I don't qualify when last year I did. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah. Yeah, so that's all the medical stuff, and I've been on with trying to get them to retake a look at my Medicaid stuff again this morning, but yeah. And they're doing the same to Mom. She's been on with her SSI benefits, trying to figure out why they cut it by $200 last year. And the guy that's doing her Medicare, is helping try to sort out that process, because what they initially told her is, oh, we're having to pay for your Medicare now. And she told the Medicare guy, and he's like, no, they're not doing that. And so now he's helping her, trying to get the situation sorted out, but yeah. So she was on the phone at 8 a.m. this morning talking to them with the Medicare guy, and they have another place that they have to call tomorrow to try and sort that out a bit more. Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, there's the whole shitty friends and family aspect of things, which Yeah. Yeah. No, there's nobody in my immediate circle that supports me on any of the things that I do. And many of them have quite specifically told me that they won't support me in what I'm doing until what I'm doing is bringing in substantial amounts of money and I start giving money to them. I'm very clear on my stance. If you won't support me until I'm giving you money, when I'm able to give you money, I'm never going to talk to you again. Like you don't get to wait until I'm in the green and can give you gifts to offer your friendship to me, especially if you're fucking family, and then expect me to reciprocate to you. No. By the time I'm in that position, you're gonna mean less than nothing to me. Like I have to take this stance with these people now because these are toxic ass motherfuckers, and I ain't got no room for that. I ain't got no room for that. Yeah. No toxic people. None. Not allowed. Only positivity and positive vibes. Yeah, because I'm getting the people that say, "Oh, you just need to go out and get a real job." I'm like, "Oh, do I?" Like, "Oh yeah, there's people hiring all over the place. If you can't get a job, you're just not trying hard enough." Because there are jobs out there. You're just not trying to get a job. I'm like, right. And I suppose the other, what is unemployment at now in the United States? Like 15 or 16%? Like I'm sure all of those millions and millions of people just aren't trying hard enough to. Yeah. I've told people, yeah, can you give me one? Because I have I have a friend who has a job. And he got the job through nepotism, right? A family member hired him on in the role that he's at. And he's one of the people that's been telling me, "Oh, you just need to get a job. You're not trying hard enough." I'm like, "Well, you have a job. Why don't you get me on where you work?" And he's like, No, I can't do that. No. Why not? And I eventually got him to admit, he's like, "Oh, because once 10 years ago, I got you a job and then you ended up quitting that job." I'm like, "You mean when I worked at McDonald's?" He's like, "Yeah, and then I was embarrassed because I got you a job and you quit, so I'm not going to do that again." I'm like, "But you don't recall what happened with that job?" Because I was telling him about that specifically. I'm like, "Look, the store manager at that McDonald's that I quit from got me another job at a different restaurant in the same town. He got me on at KFC because I was not a good fit for McDonald's. I was a much better fit for KFC, and I worked at KFC for the next year and a half before I moved out of state back to South Carolina." I'm like, there were no hard feelings about me leaving that job because why would the store manager of that store get me another job? Like, you are misremembering everything that happened with this situation, and you're giving me shit about it now. Right. So, yeah, I've had that conversation with people, and people tend to completely ignore the fact of my spine and not being able to like stand up or walk for any like length of time. Even some of these people that are judging me for this have people in their immediate circles, brothers and sisters and spouses, that have the same issues that I have with their back and with their spine. that are having the same issues getting work because of their back and their spine. But it's okay for them, but I'm just not trying hard enough. Go fuck yourself. That's, yeah. And then these people are saying, oh, well, if you actually make something of it, then I'll support you. I'm like, no, you won't. You're gonna be nobody. Like, I'm not gonna know who you are. Like, that's not how this works. Yeah. And people are specifically saying that about the streaming and the writing. Oh, you're never going to be a great streamer. And even the other top streamers do this too. Not all of them, but there are a lot of top streamers that discourage smaller streamers from trying to start streaming because they don't want the competition of someone who might be able to knock them off of their platform. So they'll tell them things like, oh, if you haven't made it in streaming by 6 months, you're never gonna make it in streaming. Like, if you've been doing this for a couple of years and you don't have a big audience, you're never gonna make it. Like, you should just quit. Like, if you're not streaming to at least 800 people every day, you should quit. There's no reason for you to continue. The number of streamers that tell small streamers that is amazing. And it's 100% bullshit. 100%. Yeah. And the same thing the same thing happens in writing. Because when I tell people I'm a writer, I'm writing a novel, they're like, oh, well, how many have you had published? Well, none yet. I'm still working on the first one. Oh, so you're not really a writer. Like, yes, I am really a writer. I am really writing a novel. And when my novel hits the bestseller list, you ain't getting a copy. You gonna buy that shit. I ain't giving you nothing. Yeah. So I've been dealing with some of that blowback on top of all of the shitty medical stuff that's happening. So, meh. Yeah. Yes, the job market is super competitive, especially in the United States right now, for several different reasons. One of which is that we are in the middle of a recession, despite what the government wants to tell you or not. The United States economy is in a recession right now. Two, the unemployment rates are actually higher now than they've been in the past decade. Like, the numbers that are coming out of the government are complete bullshit. The job market that we're competing in right now is slanted against anybody that's over 35 years old. And we are seeing quite specifically, many places won't hire applicants that are over 30 or 35. They put an age limit on who they will hire for a position, preferring younger candidates that they can manipulate more and who will stay in the position longer, that they can pay less. Because those three things come with younger applicants. They can pay them less, they can manipulate them more, and they'll probably stay in the position longer than someone older and more experienced. So we're automatically at a disadvantage if you're over 35 because the job market doesn't want you. But it's not exactly easy for the young people either, because they're in college learning all these skills and everything, and when they get out of college, they're finding that they're not only up against the other people that they were with in college for the job market they're going into. They're up against veterans that have been in that field for 20 plus years and are now out of work because of how the economy is in the United States. And even with companies preferring younger people to older people, if they need experience to get a project done, they have a world of experienced candidates waiting right there. They can have their pick. And then let them go when the project is done and bring on somebody that they can pay less. Until they need another experienced candidate, and then cut one of the juniors and bring in an experienced person. When the project's done, cut the experienced person, bring back in the junior. Right? These companies in the United States are doing that right now, which is why it's such a shit show for jobs in the US at the moment. Like, this is the reality of what's happening here. If I lived in Europe, I would be employed right now. My skills are in demand in other parts of the world. And in pretty much anywhere in Europe, I would be employed right now. In most places in Asia, I'd be employed right now. Yeah. Anyway. Oh. So yeah, this is what I've been dealing with for the past few days. Last time we got the schedule, the weekly schedule to this place. Today I want to make those borders a little bit thicker, I think. That should be easy enough to do. Border color, border size. We change border size to say 5 pixels. That should be simple enough. The first commit on this is always weird. Because I have to do the commit, I have to go through all the steps, and then I have to close and reopen code in order for it to actually do the commit. Don't think it's updated it yet. Okay, well, let's go check it out. Calendar week. Yeah, it didn't do the commit for some reason. Okay, well. Okay, terminal. Let's open the terminal. There it is. Okay. Now, if I refresh this, bam. Why is it not updating the border? There it goes. Okay, finally. We got a weird effect going on with the border right there. Okay, why is auto commit not working? Auto stage. I could, but a lot of foreign companies won't do that. Is a lady who got tricked into working for North Korea? That sounds like a story. Oh, you gotta look it up? Awesome. Yes, I'm going to use ChatGPT, by the way, to make all of the website files. Mainly because I absolutely hate web design. I hate it. I've tried I know what it is, I know how it works, I know all the different aspects. I just hate doing it. Don't know why. But it's just the most mind-numbing stuff out there. It's not difficult. Nothing hard about it. Just annoying. And it's annoying in ways that other programming isn't for some reason. And I don't know. Can't explain it. It's just annoying for me. So if I have this nifty little computer where I can tell it, hey, this is wrong. Can you change this exact thing in there and then build it out like this? And then it does it for me. I don't know why. That's just that makes it better. Because I'm not actually having to type everything out. See, like this part, the JavaScript part, this is a lot more doable than just everything. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't like web design. And it's not, web design is not exactly difficult, because getting an AI to design a website is not anything new to ChatGPT or Sonnet or anything like that. Website companies like Squarespace have been doing this for ages. Christina Chapman, a fake company, paid her to set up a large number of laptops in her home. She had to log them in as virtual terminals or something so that North Korean spies could look like they were remote US workers. Wow. That is crazy. Okay. Now, with me saving that, this should auto stage and push. Good. I don't like that I have to constantly change that to make it auto push. Now, it's still doing the little thing, so maybe it hasn't updated it yet. Bum, 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 bum. Now it's updated because the borders are gone. I mean, it's an interesting effect not having any border on there, but I think I do kind of want the border. But now I'm gonna tell ChatGPT, okay, well that's fine. You've made a thing, but the borders are gone now. They're just gone. Link in the Discord. Yes. Oh. It's like a little docu thingy. Mm-hmm. 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 102 months in prison for treason. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Border settings. Edit me. The little comments that it puts in the code are fun sometimes. My mode 1 isn't on, huh? There we go. I don't know why mode 1 was off, but now you can see the song that's playing up top, the battle music from Final Fantasy IX. Bum bum ba. Okay, what are you doing? Just go to the bottom. Now it's rebuilding the script part. We're not really rebuilding it because it hasn't changed anything yet. And here's the end. Okay, save, commit, and push. And we just gotta wait for it to update. I assume something is going to change. Wire fraud, identity theft, money laundering. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Oh no, now the border shrinking thing is back again. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Aim for a minimal patch. Oh, I spelled Gemini wrong. Let's ask Gemini if it can fix it. Gemini is just working a lot faster than ChatGPT. Don't know why. Okay, while ChatGPT is working, let's try Gemini's solution. Waiting for the update to take effect. I think Gemini's effect might have already been put in there because it's much more pronounced now. Okay. Let's try ChatGPT's fix because Gemini didn't actually fix it this time. I imagine I would see a difference when it actually updates it. Hmm. Okay, this is strange. Is that why I didn't push it? That was a strange thing there. I'm expecting something drastic to happen again. Like that. Yeah, so ChatGPT's solution removes the borders. Gemini's solution made it worse. Okay. Gemini, round 2. Okay. This ChatGPT version has a weird loading artifact on this stuff. I mean, it's still there. And it broke some of the other stuff. Okay. go back to this version. Roll things back a little bit. See, I can't really trust Google Gemini with edits, I don't think. Because it has a habit of rewriting existing code that has nothing to do with what I asked it to do. Okay, I've asked it to solve this problem in a different way. Instead of trying to match the thickness of the border to the slants inside of the frame, I asked it to instead take the border and draw it on the outside of the frame. So, we should get the same solution from a different method. One knob you might want. Okay. Okay. Got that pushed out. Now we wait for the update. And the border disappeared again. That was some nice Windurst music. Then to Stormblood. And the fix. Yeah, I'm thinking if she got charged with wire fraud, identity theft, and money laundering, she did more than set up servers for North Koreans to use. She knew what she was doing and was doing other shady stuff. Yeah, cause you just don't accidentally launder money. Okay, so not only did this not work, it broke the Friday one. This is the same change that Gemini ended up making. Okay. So it pushed it correctly to the outside. But it's thicker on the sides and on the top and bottom. So all the quests start up next week. Are you excited, Lojo, for the new questing series to start? We're gonna be coming in with 4 games. And technically, quest. Yes. Which one are you most excited to see? Technically, the content has appeared on my channel before. In multiple ways. The first thing I ever did on YouTube was The Legend of Zelda, and we're gonna be starting The Legend of Zelda on Wednesday, Final Fantasy on Monday, Warcraft on Thursday, and then restarting Pokemon Blue on Friday. Should I add Pokemon Green to the list? The classic Pokemon? Friday, yes. So the question is, should I add Pokemon Green? Now, Pokemon Green is something that a lot of people don't know a whole lot about, right? Because Pokemon Green, although yes, it is an actual Pokemon game, it was never released in the United States. Let me see. There's the box art for it. I saw an image. Here it is. Pokemon Green, right? It was never released in the United States. It was only released in Japan. Japan's Pokemon lineup was a little bit different from what ours was here in the United States. When Pokemon was released in Japan, yes, I am aiming to do something different every day so that there's no burnout or anything. But yeah, like I could add Pokemon Green to the list. Cause the way it actually broke down in Japan is they had Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green as their starting versions of Pokemon. This was before it was released in the United States. And then a year later, they had Pokemon Blue. So that, and Pokemon Blue was kind of like their crossover game that they eventually started doing with the US. But there were a number of errors in Pokemon Red and Green in the game itself. And there were some sprites that they didn't like the way they looked. That's between Fire Red. Oh, that's a video. There's one difference. I'm trying to get a nice, like, side-by-side comparison of some of the sprites from green to blue. I mean, This is some of them. So you can kind of see some of the things that they changed from Green. Like this is Pokemon Green sprite for Venusaur, and then that's the Pokemon Blue sprite. Pokemon Green versus Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Green versus Pokemon Blue. So a lot of the sprites across like all 151 base Pokemon were changed from Red and Green to the Blue version. They were updated, make them look a little bit better, a little less derpy, like in the case of Charizard right here. A redesign with the plant in the case of Venusaur right there. So the original Red and Green in Japan had these sprites. But then when Blue version came out in Japan, they replaced those with these and did a lot of updates to the game to fix some problems with the code, with the story and everything. Yeah, so that was a change there. And then when it was released in the United States, what they did was release Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, and they updated Pokemon Red to have the same code base as Pokemon Blue. And so what we got in the United States, we started with Red and Blue, this one and this one, as opposed to that one and that one. And Pokemon Green never got a release here. And then later, we got Pokemon Yellow that was based on Red and Blue, but with a changed story. And Japan also got Pokemon Yellow as its own separate thing after Blue. So in Generation 1, Japan got one more Pokemon game than we got over here. They got Pokemon Green. Fans have gone back and got Pokemon Green and made a translation for it so that there is an actual English working version of the Gen 1 Pokemon Green game. I could add that to the PokeQuest so that we could experience, you know, the original Pokemon. A version that was never released here in the United States. That there is an interesting caveat to this. A lot of people wonder why there was Fire Red and Leaf Green. These remakes for the Game Boy Advance were based off the original Japanese releases, not the American releases, which is why it was Fire Red and Leaf Green. And later, there are Switch versions. Pikachu. The Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee are two different remakes of Pokemon Yellow. I don't think a lot of people realize that about those two games when they were released on the Switch. That these are Generation 1 Pokemon remakes. They're both remakes of Pokemon Yellow. Taking Pokemon Yellow and dividing it in half like they did with Red and Green and Red and Blue. So only certain Pokemon are playable in one game and certain are playable in the other. The reason it's Pikachu and Eevee is because in the anime, these are the two Pokemon that Ash and Gary get. And in Pokemon Yellow, you play as Ash from the anime, so you get Pikachu, and your rival in Pokemon Yellow actually gets an Eevee. And because it's Gary from the show. What Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee do is let you play as either Ash or your rival Gary. So you get the pick which path you want to take. So your rival in Let's Go Pikachu is going to have an Eevee, and your rival in Let's Go Eevee is going to have a Pikachu. Yeah, fun stuff. Go green, add green. Okay, I will add Pokemon Green. A translated version of Pokemon Green to the to the lineup. I need to make Pokemon Green artwork now for the thumbnails. One of the cool things I'm gonna do with the Pokemon Quest is I'm going to we're gonna let like everybody vote on which game happens next, but we don't necessarily have to move into the next generation right away. Like all of this is in the first generation for Pokemon, and then the second generation is Gold, Silver, and Crystal. And so when we complete Pokemon Blue, Gold, Silver, and Crystal are going to become available. But also Red, Green, Yellow, So I'm thinking about locking these versions away behind these versions specifically. So if we want to see Fire Red, I have to clear Red. Now that I've added Green on there, I'm thinking if we want to see Leaf Green, we have to clear Green. And then if we want to see either of the Let's Go games, we have to clear Yellow. So these four, I'm going to lock behind an additional wall of clearing these. But after we clear Blue, these 6 options are going to be available for which Pokemon game we play through next. And if you pick one of these, like if you pick Red, that's going to unlock Fire Red after Red is over. If you pick Green, it's going to unlock Leaf Green. You pick Yellow, it's going to unlock these 2. And those will just be added to the list. If you pick one of these, likewise, like if you pick Gold, we're going to unlock Emerald, Ruby, and Sapphire. But it's also going to unlock Heart Gold, which is the remake of Gold for the DS. And so the Pokemon Quest is always going to have a lot of different options. And even though we'll be playing back through the same games, they're going to feel differently because I'm not going to be reusing Pokemon at all across these titles. That unless it's absolutely demanded that I do, like if we play through Yellow and then we play through Let's Go Pikachu, I'm obviously going to have to use Pikachu again. But yeah, because Eevee is here, I won't be picking up an Eevee I won't be using an Eevee on my battle team in any of the prior games. Because I know Pikachu is here, I won't be using Pikachu in any of the prior games. And whatever Pokemon I end up using when we play through Blue are now banned when we're going through Red, Green, and Yellow. So I'm going to have to use different Pokemon every time, no repeats. And the same going forward through the generations. And I'm going to enshrine all of the Pokemon that are in our team into a special like Pokemon graphic shrine thing. I don't know where I'm going to display it yet. Probably on the website. With the PokeQuest, we're going to have like a Hall of Fame that is all the Pokemon that we've used through the PokeQuest as we are going through it. So picking another game in the same generation is not going to be like a penalty or anything because we're going to be going through it with a whole new set of Pokemon. Yeah, it'll just be expanding our Hall of Fame. So if you want the most Pokemon, we gotta play more Pokemon games. I'm not opposed to playing more Pokemon games. I like Pokemon. Pokemon's a really nice, fun little RPG. And eventually we will exhaust all of the Pokemon options. And it'll be fine. But I've specifically got every single version of Pokemon playable. I've got them all. I don't know if I have an easy way to transfer Pokemon across all of them. But I've got every version of Pokemon that's been released in the US as playable. Either by emulation or on the official system that it came on. I have them all. And they're all playable. And if you've been looking at my desktop and wondering what's all this stuff on my desktop, all of these right here, these are the Pokemon games. And every single one of these is playable. It's blue, red, yellow, fire red, leaf green, silver, gold, crystal, soul silver, heart gold, sapphire, ruby, emerald, alpha, sapphire, omega, ruby, pearl, diamond, platinum, white, black, white 2, black 2, X, Y, sun, moon, ultra sun, and ultra moon. Like these are all of the ones that you can't currently get on the Switch. All the stuff that you can get on the Switch, I've had on the Switch for like ages, like Sword and Shield and Violet and Scarlet and all that. I've got all of that stuff already on the Switch, but the ones that you can't currently get on there, which is weird because these Pokemon games here are for the Game Boy. These right here are for the Game Boy Advance. Why aren't these on the Nintendo Switch Virtual Console? Like, the Pokemon Company is a subsidiary of Nintendo. Why is that? And these are Game Boy Advance games here, Sapphire, Ruby, and Emerald. Why are these games not on the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance? That's weird. That's weird. Why hasn't Nintendo released a Pokemon collection? It's like, oh, here's red, green, blue, and yellow as a collection. Here's the Gen 1 collection, right? And release the original Pokemon games, like in a Switch collection format. Like that would be cool. And let that collection then upload them into your Pokemon bank so you can get your Gen 1 stuff in the current one, and then you could do like a Generation 2 collection, a Generation 3 collection. Nintendo, take notes. You need to be doing stuff. Why is Facebook open? Okay, anyway. That has pushed. Bum, bum, bum. Oh. Oh. Here we go. And that just broke it entirely. Oh. Okay. Okay, so ChatGPT is trying again. So is it just Pokemon you're looking forward to? Not Final Fantasy, Zelda, or Warcraft? Bum bum bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The ChatGPT fueled adventure? I'm not sure. I don't think I might have. I don't know. It does sound familiar. I've watched many a video. They're starting to blur together. Oh, we lost the color. Put the link in Discord. Well, one thing that I have been watching lately, and we could probably pull up an episode here in a minute. There's an old show that started in the 80s called The Computer Chronicles. I remember watching this show in the 80s and 90s and learning about like the new like technology that was coming out. Oh my god, they're doing this with computers now. Computers are so amazing, right? I used to watch that all the time. The Computer Chronicles, there's a show on on G4 with Adam, what's his name? Oh my God, it's gonna bug me. I gotta Google this. G4 Adam Sessler. What's it called? X-Play, that's what it was called. X-Play. Way back in the day, there was a show that came, BBC GameSpot. I've seen it as extended play too. But there was a cable network called the G4 Network, and they had the show X-Play, which was hosted by Adam Savage and Morgan Webb. Not Savage, Sessler. Adam Sessler, this guy, and Morgan Webb, this chick. And it was one of the few shows that were out there on TV that talked about upcoming video games, right? Because we didn't have like YouTube and directs and any of that stuff yet. And so this was like 1998. Let's go ahead and put this version up here. Why are you leaving dead things in the code, GPT? Yeah, what I was talking about was, let's go to... Close that. Yeah, so here's a Computer Chronicle episode from 1984 about artificial intelligence and what they thought it was and where they thought it was going and all of that cool stuff. And they did another one the following year in 1985. And I have been watching these because although, like, I didn't watch this when it aired in 1984 because I was born that year, right? But going back now and watching and looking at what they thought about artificial intelligence back then, what it was, what it could and could not do, it's really fascinating for me. So I'm thinking, like, we might be able to check one of those out. Did it actually just fix the thing? I mean, I'm still getting the narrowing in there, but it looks like it might have, like, this looks a lot better for what I was aiming for. So if I can now change the padding, we put that at 3 pixels and then save that. Yeah, this is how things are going to be shaping up next week. On Monday, we're going to have Final Fantasy. On Tuesday, we're going to have more behind-the-scenes stuff here when I'm continuing to fix things up. On Wednesday, we're going with The Legend of Zelda. On Thursday, we're going with Warcraft. And on Friday, we will be back with Pokemon Blue. Yes. Okay, yeah, there's the 3 pixels. So I'm thinking maybe the answer is actually 4 pixels. Because 5 seems a little much. 3 is a little, like, under what I'm looking for. So 4 might be the sweet spot here. Gotta wait for things to propagate through the server. Oh, is that it? Did it do it? Yeah, I think that's it. Because that does look a lot nicer. I think that is the appropriate level of gap between all of the elements. And technically it gives me more room to work inside the actual borders. Okay. So it's thinking about all of the things that we were having problems with in the previous chat. I've got my ChatGPT set to where it can access all of the other chats that we've had, like over... Well, this is chats for the past year or so. I tend to go back through and clean these out like every 6 months. Like I archive stuff that I don't need, and then I go back and I just pull like the whole archive out to text files and shove them in my offline archive. I've showed you guys my archive folder before. I have this big archive folder here. How big is this? How big is my archive? My archive has things in it that go all the way back to the early 90s. Like back in the days of like the 386 and stuff. I have files in my archive that go back that far. I've just kind of kept everything associated with my computer. As you can see, I'm at 100,000 files so far. 120,000, 125. We're at 600 gigabytes, 700 gigabytes, 150,000 files, 15,000 folders of organization going on inside of the archive there. Just crossed 200,000 files, 725 gigabytes. The files get remarkably larger the bigger through like PC history that I go. Oh, there we go. We've crossed the terabytes. 272,000 files, 1.3 terabytes. That's the size of my archive right now. Which is probably rivaled by the size of my streaming archive. Oh, it's okay. It's nowhere near my streaming archive. My streaming archive is already over 4 terabytes of data. 4.15 terabytes right now. Terabytes. 6.18 terabytes for my streaming. That is right here. I have 1.61 terabytes free. I need to go back through and edit a lot of that. Because I can't afford to add another drive to my system right at the moment. Also, I linked this in Discord. I'm in space. I mean, this is an actual satellite that was in space that had my picture up. This is a Google Pixel phone. So it pulled up my little avatar emote guy here on a Google Pixel while it's in orbit with Earth in the background and took a space selfie. I showed that in Discord. Okay, so it's offering an additional fix for the problem that was still showing up. So you can see here that at this point here, this border is thinner than it is up here. And you can see it on these two. On this one, it's thinner at the top than the bottom, and on this one, it's thicker at the top than on the bottom. And that was the initial problem that I was trying to fix. And so what ChatGPT spat out right here was what it thinks will fix that issue. So we can wait for that update to pop in. But even if it doesn't, I think I'm kind of okay with it doing that. It's not that big of a deal. And it can just be seen as artistic license. Make sure this actually... Oh, okay. Well, it just updated, so. So it's gonna be a moment, uno momenta. But there are going to be some naming options available in Final Fantasy and in Pokemon. We're gonna have naming options for naming the Pokemon and for naming the 4 main characters in Final Fantasy. So there are 6 jobs that are available in the original Final Fantasy game. Warrior, Red Mage, Black Mage, White Mage, Thief, Monk, and that's it. Warrior, Red Mage, White Mage, Black Mage, Thief, and Monk are the 6 jobs. Would you like to be one of these jobs in the party, Lojo? I don't think that actually fixed the problem. Okay. So we're going to be making a change to the calendar right here, taking the day of the week and moving it up, and then underneath that, putting the date, which is month/day, right there. Because I know it has it right here. But I think it would be much easier having it here on the row, so you can look here and say, oh, this is Thursday, January what, 15th? Yeah, today's the 15th? Yeah. Yeah, today's the 15th, yeah. Anyway. Got the prelude happening right here. Fun fact about this song. I forget how close it was to release, but it was like day of release for Final Fantasy. The first Final Fantasy, they came to the composer. Oh my god, why is his name leaving my brain right now? Nobu Uematsu, this guy, Uematsu, the legend that wrote most of the Final Fantasy music. But they were like right before the final version of Final Fantasy had to go out, and they came to him and they're like, quick, we need a song for the main menu of Final Fantasy when they're telling the story. Like, what do you got? And he went back, and then 15 minutes later came out with this. I'm like, that's a legend right there. That's what that is. Okay, to move it up and down. Negative up, positive down. I don't think I could have figured that out by myself. Thank you for clarifying which direction goes which direction. Okay, so we'll know that when the update happens because the date will appear over here. Provided it pushes it. Okay. How long does it take to propagate through the internet? Okay, probably should have propagated through by now. Oh, there we go. Okay. There we go. Now wrap, DAO, and date. That's gonna be in here. Right here. And mobile sizes. DAO and date. That goes away. That goes away. That goes away. And those changes. Push that out, please. Okay. Now we just wait for that push to complete. While we're doing that, I'm going to take a quick little break. I will be right back. I have returned. And as you can see, the update has been completed. I want to bring them a little bit closer together. So I think right here. Let's bring that to -3. And then save that. Now we just have to wait for that change to propagate through. Oh. And it looks like it did fix the border as well. Well, that's just lovely. Everything is fixed now. When did you slip that change in there and fix that border up? More incredible Final Fantasy music right there. Okay. Let's lower the gap to 3 pixels. But the translate back up to 5 pixels. Every time I hear the main Final Fantasy theme now, I'm reminded of Parental Floss. He did a he has a series where he takes instrumental songs in video games and writes lyrics for them. And he has What If the Final Fantasy theme had lyrics, and it's amazing. Okay, so we're gonna have a pretty big jump right here because I changed it from 5 down to 1. That's what I thought it would be here. Okay. So let's bring the gap to 0. Oh, am I changing it in the wrong spot? Wrap. App 6 pixels. I am changing it in the wrong spot. Like, why isn't it changing it? Oh, I was changing it on the mobile version. That's me. So now we should clearly see this change when the update goes through. Okay, that closed the gap a good bit. Okay. Kanji box. Okay. I have seen the kanji box. Media. Kanji box. Let's make this 8. So the next change we're looking for is we're going to bring the kanji and this date a little bit closer together in here. That way the date on some of the longer ones won't be rubbing up against the border line right there. Make sure I'm hitting the right attribute. Margin right. Well, let's drop it down to 6. go ahead and save that. Stage and push. Okay, and while that's happening, okay, so I might have to take this. We'll drop that down to 2. And then we have a format date. Right? Strokes. Strokes. Image. Start on day 15. Description. Days. Local. Format date. Okay, and now we'll push this whole thing all together. Okay, so now when this updates, it should strip off the leading 0 on the months that have a leading 0 on them right there, and push this closer that way. Okay, I think I pushed it maybe a little bit too close. Because although it looked good for ones like Monday, on other ones, it seems a little much. So I think 6 might be a good run for that. What am I looking for? Kanji box. There's kanji box. I'm gonna switch this to 6 pixels, and we should be good. And in here for kanji box. Okay, that looks okay. And then that. Commit, stage, and push. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. Let's look at Google Calendar. FF1PR. Bum bum. Oh. Okay, so what I'm doing here is making an update to the file so that if there is no event shown, and when it pulls from right here, see it just says rest day, because I deleted the event from that day because I didn't stream the day before yesterday. What I wanted to do instead is anytime there is no event scheduled for the day, I wanted to show off like this with this thumbnail. That way I don't have to mark the days off on the calendar. All I have to do is not have something scheduled for that day. That way, when I need to delete a stream, if I can't stream on a certain day, instead of having to delete the stream and then make a new entry for it to show off, all I have to do is delete the stream, and we'll be good. Okay. I am almost at the point where I'm going to split these into three different files. There's a couple more changes that I want to make, and then we'll be looking at that. And here's the end. Bum 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 boom boom boom. Ha! Here we go. So now when we go back here, yes, all these days from the previous year are now showing off instead of rest day. Nice. So I don't need to schedule days off specifically anymore. All I have to do is delete a particular stream, and then it'll automatically switch that day to a day off. That's good. Okay. So now we're gonna change the dev quest to dev stream. Okay. Nice. So now. Okay, so that I need to fix if something goes over. Okay. Okay. I think what I need to do is make a different delineator right here. Like that. Okay. Okay. Little Banjo Kazooie. I think it's Banjo. Might be Donkey Kong. No, this is Banjo. Click Clock Wood. Yeah. Tik-Tok Wood. Or Click Clock Wood. Something wood. Banjo Kazooie had some fun music. Pretty fun game. ba-dum bum. Bum ba-dum bum. Ba-dum. Bum ba-dum bum bum. Ba-ba-da-ba-bum. It's a fun song. Okay. Bum bum bum. That was a fun song. Oh no, did I break it? I might have broken it. It's taking a long time to think. While it's thinking, I will eat one of my overbaked sugar cookies. In the stuff I got from the food kitchen, were two like of those pre-made sugar cookie packs that you're supposed to just take them out of the box and put them on the pan and then bake them. I baked them for too long. Once I get, oops. Once I get this change made, oh, it's already done a lot of it. I'm gonna have it take off the EST over here. Well, I do kind of like it just being like alien winches though. I mean, it works as alien winches. Okay. This is gonna take a minute to propagate through. There we go. So I think I'm going to change the time back to alien winches and remove the EST from it. Because I want it to display in the time zone of the person viewing it. So I'm going to have to add that code to that. I may have to code that myself. I don't know if ChatGPT is clever enough to pull that off. As for this... I think this is where the JSON files that I made are going to come into play. Oh no, the alien abduction didn't fire. Hold on, let me fix it. Hold on. What? The aliens are out for lunch. Don't worry, I will get them back. They're back. Bye-bye. Also, greetings, PT. Let me get your points. Because when that doesn't fire, you get your points refunded. That is the rule. Hello, Web Geek. What kind of page am I creating? I am also, hello, Chaos Neutral. I didn't see you there either. I'm creating a website for my stream. So, like all the VTubers and such have the nice little fancy, like, schedules, that's the word. But I can't be asked to make the schedule every single time, like every week, because I forget. So what I've done is created a Google Calendar and then scheduled out all of my streams for the entire year. And I'm like, okay, so I've got them all on the Google Calendar, which gives me notifications to my phone and things so I don't forget anything. Now, wouldn't it be nice if I could just make the schedule auto-populate and build itself from the Google Calendar? So that's what I'm doing. And I built a month version. It's broken right now because I've changed a lot of the stuff to make this. I'm gonna fix that a little bit later. So I've got a month view, and I've got a You made a schedule for yourself and immediately stopped following. Well, my schedule is, for me, is basically the same schedule every day, right? Like, we're gonna start at noon, and then we're gonna go up to 8 hours, depending on what I feel like for that particular day. The only thing that's going to change is what we are doing on those particular days. So I am setting all of that stuff up. And so what I'm going to be doing is you guys may have noticed when I made all of these JSON files that are just big collections of the games that are part of the quest. But they each have an ID associated with them. And that ID ties into a thumbnail. Right? And so I've got like 99 of each thumbnail and everything. So that ID ties to a thumbnail that is in the description of the Google Calendar. So there's a code here in the description of every entry on the calendar that gives a 2-digit number that tells it what color to format this at, and then gives a game code. And that game code is going to tell it what thumbnail to load and what information to pull out of the JSON file. And it's gonna know which JSON file to load because it's going to be this with the spaces removed and all lowercase. So I'm gonna tell it, okay, take whatever the title is for that day, convert it to lowercase, remove all the spaces, and it's gonna be that .json is gonna get you the information for the quest. And then you're going to take this code, take the first 2 numbers, that's your color code, and then all of the rest of the letters, .png, and that's going to be your thumbnail, and then look through the JSON file for all of the rest of the letters, and that's where you're going to get the other information you need to fill out the calendar, like the title and everything. So, that's the plan. Moving pieces. So anytime I make a new entry, all I have to do is put down what quest it's a part of, and then which entry on the quest it is. In this case, FF1PR, Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster. And then the code should do everything else. So when someone just rolls up to my schedule page here, they're just gonna like roll up and then everything will be highlighted and it'll change for the particular day, and they can go forward a week and see what's going on then. They can go back a week. Like this is what we were doing last week. This is what we're doing this week. This is what we're doing next week. Yeah. And then like once I get this core like framework built, I can then just put artwork and stuff in the background. Because that's easy to just throw up an artwork background image that would just make it look pretty. But then the main part, the main work of the schedule is auto updated. Lovely. And I might be able to make it take a screenshot of the thing and then use that screenshot as a thumbnail for like a Twitter post. That's in the future. Right now I'm getting formatting set up, and then I'm going to chop the file up into its component pieces. I'm gonna need to go through the JSON files and make sure that they're formatted correctly. Because of the way I'm hosting this, I can't use a database, so I have to use flat files because this has to be static. So I'm using a collection of JSON files instead. Let's coding time tile. Okay, I'm gonna need to do formatting here. This works. rename this. I got one too many Q's in there. Okay. Dev quest.
Standing here, not a star in the sky to guide me tonight. If we're lost in fear,
And
darkness round my class. All this pain inside of me, don't know where it starts or when it'll end. Try to tame the agony as I close my eyes and scream to the wind. Look around and find me standing alone. Cause the storm is taking everything I know. Don't know why I thought I'd make it by myself. After all that we've been through, out of time I'm running blank in somebody else. There's so much in life I couldn't understand. Standing tall, we'll face tomorrow and we've been messing through the warfare with me. Never losing sight of everywhere they led.
okay, all of the instructions. Okay.
Seize the day and hold on tight. The sun is rising. Life, take it slow and take a bite. So high on the down we set ourselves.
And yes, I mentioned this before. I'm using ChatGPT to create the HTML code and the CSS and the JavaScript. I have to go back and edit a lot of the JavaScript myself. just because I absolutely hate web design. I hate it. It is my least favorite things to do. I would rather like sandpaper my eyeballs than do web design. Like I would rather code in Java. I don't like web design. So I'm like, oh hey, the AI can do web design because AIs have been doing web design forever. What do you think Squarespace is? I am perfectly fine with letting AI slop a website together. That's an interesting way to do that logic, okay. And that's all the same. It's just given up on trying to color code at this point. It's just like, you know what? Colors, totally unnecessary. And here's the end, okay. Okay, I need calendar week. So I do need to go back here now. We'll take this out. Okay, so now go in here. Yeah, we've got this. Have you pushed this out yet? Okay, let's go look at the repository. JSON. We're looking for the dev quest.json. Okay, it's right there. ID is there, and then the title is Let's Coding Time. Okay. Something strange is happening. It looks like it should work. I have it changing multiple things in different parts of the file. Now on to the HTML part. Okay, now the HTML. The whole HTML for this whole page is this. From right here to right there is the HTML. Everything else is CSS up that way and JavaScript down this way. All of the HTML is right here. Okay, it should be finding the JSON file from that logic right there. I don't know why it's not. I mean, I have a pretty good idea why it's not. There's a pathing issue somewhere. It's not looking in the right spot because I made a typo. Bum, 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 bum. It's giving up on color again. Okay. Okay. Committed, staged, and pushed. It's taking a second to build the calendar now. I'm gonna have to do some optimization. It's still not finding the right JSON file. should be correct. Oh, I see. I know why it's not doing it. Okay. That's on me. I named the file incorrectly. See? Not the dev quest, it's dev stream. Save that. And now I just have to wait for that to update and it should go all the way through. I thought the code looked correct. I'm like, why? Why is this not working? I was right. It was a pathing error. I had something named wrong. Okay, JSON. Depth stream. Okay, there we go. There it is. Yep, okay. So now it's the logic for pulling from the JSON files is correct. So now I just have to make sure that all of the JSON questing files are correct, because those JSON files are also going to be used in another part of the website for displaying the quests and which quests are active and whatnot. So every piece is doing lots of different things. Modular design. Yes. I know how to do design properly. I just don't like doing web design. Okay, so okay, the next two changes. Oh, we're in Torian. to it. Show me the edits. I don't feel like parsing through the it's already going so slow. We are at mother brain speed right now. Oh. FF9 music. Bum 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 bum. Okay. Weak. And while that's updating, I'm going to make several different changes here. We're going to call this the dev quest for just this one event, and that should show the dev quest there. This one should show properly, but then this one is going to show improperly because I'm going to add this there for just this one event. And so now when we're updating, that one's not going to have the thumbnail, and it's already showing correctly. Okay. So if the code is correct and the name is incorrect, it will show the name that's on the calendar, but the correct code. If both are correct, it will show the proper name for the stream and the code. And then if the code is incorrect, it will show... Ooh. It's showing dev stream. That's right, because it pulls the subtitle from there. Got it. And then to fix that, I just take this and fix that like that. And I take this, fix that like that. And then when we come back over here and hit refresh, bam. And then going forward, it's pulling that properly. Okay. Hmm. Okay, I may have to reformat the calendar to use actual times instead of all-day events. I hear dripping water somewhere. I think it's in the hot water heater or the water heater. Hmm. Hold on, let me take a look here. What does it look like if I switch this from all day and we start at noon? Hit them like that. Okay, I think I can reformat the calendar to do this. Okay. Okay. It's working. While it's doing that, I'm gonna take a quick little break and check out that dripping sound I'm hearing. I will be right back. Alrighty. So I think we've got it. So now it's just a matter of going back to the calendar, making sure the calendar is set correctly. Because I can tell the events that are off because there's nothing scheduled on that day. And then off because I have scheduled an off because they have a time right there. Off should not begin, it should just be. So I need to remove all of the days that I have scheduled off and just not schedule anything for that day. And then for the actual events, make sure that we have the event like scheduled properly. And I'll know when they're scheduled properly because they'll show up like this instead of like that. So yeah, the next thing is just to make sure that I actually delete all of the off days. Got an alt right here we can remove. Alt right here we can remove. Alt right here we can remove. Right here. Right here. Okay, and now that should update properly across everything here. Yep. Nice. Cool. And it assumes 12 p.m. unless if it's an all-day event, it's gonna mark it as 12 p.m. Greetings, Sentai. Welcome, welcome. This is a song. We're gonna skip that. I am building. What's my favorite Godzilla movie? I don't really have one. I've seen 2 Godzilla films. I've seen the original one in Japanese, and then I've seen the one that everyone hates. That was, I think, what, 2000? Where he was just like a big T-Rex type of dealio stomping through New York. Yeah. So I don't really have a favorite. Shin Godzilla is by the guy that made Evangelion. I am a fan of Evangelion. I am a fairly big fan of Evangelion. Although, Zach, he has no idea how to make an ending to anything. Because the ending to the series of Evangelion sucked. The end of Evangelion sucked. I'm like, dude, you were doing so well. Why is the end of this amazing show so bad? I don't know if that's a hot take or not amongst the people who like Evangelion. But I did not like the ending. And all the stuff they've tried to do to fix the ending is not really fixing it. It's just kind of making it worse. Because now you don't know what's actually the ending and what's not the ending anymore. But I'm happy where this is at right now. So now I just need to go back over the entire calendar and fix everything on the calendar, and then go over all of the JSON files and make sure that they're all properly configured to pull all the information off. Yeah. That's gonna take a bit, and that's gonna be quite boring. I think this is where I'm going to call the stream for today. Because of all the events of everything that's happened over the past couple days, and I've made the progress that I wanted to make with the calendar today. I've got it fixed and formatted correctly, like it's supposed to be. I may put a little bit more of a gap between the PM and that wall right there. Like push it a little bit to the left a little bit. A little bit. I said that too much. But yeah, I'm liking where this is at right now. DevStream may get its own custom tag right here. That is not the thumbnail. I don't know. This thumbnail, I really like the logo. I like the actually guy right there, but this part down here, I don't know. It doesn't play well at smaller sizes and on mobile. So I'm thinking of this. I was thinking of doing something like this with it, right? And using this, what I guess people have decided is the universal like programming code, just a tag with a slash in the middle of it. That's kind of transparent, because when you bring this up to full screen, you can see through it and you can clearly see the code and everything behind it. And it looks kind of nice. But when you bring it down to the smaller size, you lose the ability to see through it, and you don't really see the code behind it. But you do see the icon itself. So at full size, you can clearly see the code back here, and you can see through the icon, and your eye is drawn to the texture behind it. But at smaller sizes, your eye is drawn to the icon itself. I think that works, maybe. I don't know. One problem that I'm having with it at this size is that the icon is stealing the focus away from this up here. So I want it to pop, but I want this to kind of be the focus. So I was thinking of maybe moving that down and like centering it right there. But I don't know. I'm still playing around with that. I was getting ChatGPT as a second opinion right here, and it just kind of mirrored back exactly what I was thinking. So I'm like, okay, that's not a very good second opinion. If it's just gonna tell me what I'm already thinking, I'm like, thank you for validating my line of thought, I guess. I don't need a yes man. I need someone who's gonna be critical of things I am doing wrong. That is not ChatGPT. It is not critical of your mistakes. It thinks your mistakes are just secret inspiration, and you're quietly the most brilliant person to ever exist. There's a problem with ChatGPT. Yes, it always assumes that you're right. This is incorrect. Anyway, let's take a look through Twitch land and see which of our friends are doing some fun things in the Twitch land at the moment. Who do I know that we can drop a raid on? Raid? Who can we raid? Wow, not a lot of people from my list are online at the moment. Ah, here we go. Oh, nope, maybe not. Okay. I was like, here we go, we found somebody. Nope, they're going offline. Ah. We have not rated Sarah Key in a minute. She's playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. So I'm gonna drop you guys in on Sarah, and you get to watch some Animal Crossing. She's fun. She does a lot of Kingdom Hearts stuff. I watch a lot of her Kingdom Hearts content. She does a lot of Final Fantasy stuff too, and I do a lot of Final Fantasy stuff. So Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts stuff. But today she's doing Animal Crossing. I have not played Animal Crossing in quite a bit, because like everybody, I got into it when the pandemic was happening because I had it on my Switch, on my truck, and then when I moved from the Switch Lite to my Switch OLED, it didn't tell me I had to do like 20 extra steps to move my Animal Crossing island. Instead, it just deleted my island. So I'm like, you know what? I had a 5-star island, and it's gone now. I think my time with Animal Crossing is over. Anyway, I'm going to go do a whole bunch of mundane stuff, or we'll just build a program to do mundane stuff while I do other stuff, which is more likely what's going to happen. And then I will be back tomorrow, and we're going to be doing more coding on the website and stuff. Yeah. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you on the flip side. Nari out.